Hi, this is Tim Yoder with Fit Small Business. Today I'm going to evaluate Xero accounting software for Chapter 3 of the Fit Small Business case study. So our first task is to set up a 6% sales tax to the state of New York. So if we go to our settings, and I think this is actually going to be in our advanced settings. So down here we can link over to our advanced settings, our tax rates. Okay, and we can view the tax rates that have been set up here by default. Let's add a new tax rate, and we will call it New York State, or State of New York, I guess. Now it asks for the components, so that would be the city, maybe any special taxing districts, state, all of these things together. I'm just going to put it all as just one component, state at 6%. But it looks like if you have multiple state sales taxes you need to collect from each cell, you can actually add multiple components to this one tax rate. So that's pretty handy. Okay, so that was pretty simple. Now they also have this other sales tax lookup tool. I think this is an integration with Avalara. So you can put in your physical address, states where you do business, and it'll actually help you find this correct sales tax code. For the case study, our sales tax is made up, so we're not going to want to actually look up the real one. But here you can actually get help from Avalara to look up your sales tax rate. Okay, piece of cake. Next step, customize an invoice template by uploading a logo and adjusting the color scheme to match the logo. And then we want to create a personalized message at the bottom of the invoice. So first thing, let me grab a copy of the logo we want to upload. Okay, so to customize the invoice, let's go back to our settings again. I think this is one of our basic settings. Invoice settings. Okay. So here gives us our standard, kind of their default invoice. Here we can create a new branding theme, they like to call it. So their branding thing, there's really, it's very, very customizable as far as what appears on the invoice. You can change the name of all of the different headers on the invoice. You can show exactly the items by clicking on and off the arrows that you want to put on the invoice there. But there's really no customization for the look of the invoice. Okay, so we'll just call this customized invoice. So not seeing anything here to customize it. Can we upload the logo? Okay, we have a button there that says show logo, so we may have to go somewhere else to upload it. Now we want to put a personal message. I'm guessing we can use this. So terms and payment advice, looks like this is just a text field. So let's see what it looks like on the invoice if we just put thank you for your business here. That's one of the items that we want to try to do in the case study. Okay, so I don't think we can upload the logo right here, but I think we can do it on this next screen here. So customized invoice, let's upload our logo. See if I can just click and drag it. That would be nice. Nope, not allowing me to click and drag. Okay. Plumbing logo. Upload it. Okay, there we go. So our options here, edit, copy, delete, preview. Let's do a preview. Okay, so this is pretty much what you get. I mean, you can move the logo to center, you can change the names of any of these fields, but I see nothing where you can change colors of the invoice, really customize it to your style at all. It's just, it's very functional, right? You can put exactly what you want on the invoice, but as far as a design and matching the colors of our invoice, I'm not seeing anything. Now, one thing I like about the preview is you can actually preview it on mobile apps too. So you got to remember, half your customers are probably going to be viewing your invoices on their mobile app, so it's important to know what it looks like there as well. Okay, so I like the preview feature. That's nice, but you really can't customize. Oh, you know what? Let's preview it again. I want to see what that text that we typed in looks like. So let's preview it on the screen. Okay, that's good. So the field name is terms or whatever, but you can put any message you want in there. Okay, excellent. So let's go ahead and fill out our scorecard for this. So create a sales tax item. That was easy. Choose an invoice template. I'm going to give it a 0 there because they don't have any templates to choose from. I mean, it's just one template. There's no choice. We were able to upload a logo. We were able to, we couldn't change the color. We were able to create a personalized message. Okay, so again, very functional invoices, but not customizable. You can't make them spiffy. Okay. So next item on our case study is we want to issue an invoice to Family Bowling for the 40 hours of Hank's labor and the $200 permit fee. So chapter 2, we set that up. Excuse me. We set that up in a project. So let's make sure we invoice it from the project. So into our project here, we can see we haven't invoiced anything yet. We have 3,400 waiting to be invoiced. Let's click Invoice, Tasks and Expenses, or Project Amount. Let's try Tasks and Expenses and see what happens. Here we can choose what we want to invoice. So we want to invoice we don't have any expenses anyway. Oh, I guess that's just what they call these. Okay. So we can invoice one of them or both of them. Let's invoice both of them. So we're going to save and open it as a draft invoice. Okay. Branding theme. Again, I don't know how they can call that a branding theme. It just adjusts what you put on the invoice. It's not really customized invoice. Remember, is what we called the invoice that we created. Okay. Looks pretty good to me. Okay. Add more details. Well, let's see what this is. Well, we already got a logo on there. Okay. So that's not much. So let's close that. Let's hit preview. Again, very generic. But it does the job. Oh, you know what? I think we wanted to charge sales tax on this. Actually, no, we would have the case study tells us no sales tax is required. So no sales tax. Okay. So let's hit send. Okay, and here it looks like we will be able to send it as an invoice. Okay, very good. So I'm not going to actually send it. I'm just going to get cancel here. And so it looks like I could actually print it if I wanted to. So if I wanted to print and mail it, I could do that as well. Got a payment advice at the bottom. Okay. Very good. So we'll go back to invoices, see if it saved that. Yep, and there's our $3,400 invoice. Okay, so let's grade that. That worked pretty well. Add the unbilled labor and expenses to the invoice. Okay, print the invoice. We were able to do that. And email the invoice. We were able to do that. Okay, now next step is to record an invoice for the sale of 20 plumbing widgets to Big Time Diner for $25 each. Be sure to collect the 6% sales tax. Okay, so now we're going to create an invoice to sell inventory, and we're really curious to see if it does the cost of goods sold correctly. So let's do a new invoice. And we're going to create a new customer on the fly here. It's supposed to be Big Time Diner. Add Big Time Diner as a new contact. We could fill out all that information out, but no point in doing it just for the case study. Should give it an invoice number automatically. There we go. Issue date, due date's all fine. Let's put it to our customized invoice that we created. Tax amounts are tax exclusive, meaning we have to add tax on top of that. So let's add our inventory item here, our plumbing widgets, and we are selling 20 of them, is what the case study tells us. Okay, so let's state of New York. Okay, and class is plumbing. Location is New York. And there we go, and it added our sales tax to it. Very good. I'm going to hit send and then cancel. Okay, and then there's the print PDF if I wanted to print and mail it, and there we go. Let's make sure that showed up here. Okay, piece of cake. There's our $530 including the sales tax. So could we create a new customer? Yes, very easy. Add inventory to the invoice was very easy. Charge sales tax on the inventory, very easy. Okay, let's determine if the program now automatically recorded the cost of goods sold. So let's determine that. I guess let's look at a report. That might be the easiest place. Let's look at an income statement. Now, according to my calculations, which might be off if we weren't able to do one of the prior transactions, but it should be on, I think. If the program uses FIFO, I think it'll be $200 in cost of goods sold. If it uses average cost, which I think this program does, it'll be $10. It'll be $206.67. So let's look at the income statement. Cost of goods sold, $207.42. So I'm sure that's right. I just did my calculation real quick. Perhaps we did something a little different in Xero than I'd done in another program. So I'm happy with that. It does allocate the cost of goods sold correctly. And then by putting it in cost of goods sold, that obviously means it's taking it out of our inventory amount on the balance sheet. So go down to inventory. Oh, this is 2020. There is no inventory in 2020. Let's do this as of today. Inventory 144,158. Yes, so that has been reduced by the amount it put into cost of goods sold. So that's fantastic. That if you deal with inventory in your business, you have to have good inventory accounting, or you'll kill yourself with all the spreadsheets. So makes it extremely easy to track your cost of goods sold, and that's actually a rare thing. Xero does it fantastically. So does QuickBooks. Cost of goods sold is using average cost or LIFO, so either one of those is fine. It's using average cost, so that's great. Okay, now moving on. Create an invoice for recurring monthly invoice to Trampoline City for $100 per month for a service contract. So let's make this as easy as possible for the future. So we're going to go to what was it? Business, products and services. And we're going to create a service item for our service contract. So new item. I'm just going to call it service for service contract. It's not an inventoriable item, it's a service. So when we, let's see, when we purchase it, we're never going to purchase it, right? The service contract is something we just provide. It's a service we provide. So we're not purchasing it, we're only selling it. And the sales price is going to be, what did I say? $100 per month. Okay, we're going to put that into our other income account. There we go, and describe it as service contract. Okay, now we are wanting to create a monthly recurring invoice to Trampoline City, which is a new client. Just for something different, let's go ahead and let's add our new client through the contacts instead of just the quick add, just so we can see what it's like. So a new contact, Trampoline City. And again, you'll want to fill out all this information. We don't need to. Now, where do we tell it that this is a customer? I'm not sure. Hit save. Okay, well, they should be there now. So let's go to our invoicing center here. Okay, let's create a new invoice. We're going to want to make this a recurring invoice. It's for Trampoline City. We just created it. Very nice. So it should come up with an invoice number for us. Yes, it does. Okay. Now, how are we going to make this a recurring invoice? Well, let's go ahead and fill it out. See if that somehow brings it up. So we're going to do the service contract for $100. Okay. How do we make this recurring? Let me do a little bit of research and I'll get right back to you. Okay, so it looks like this is actually fairly simple to do. Let's go ahead and create this initial invoice on November 6th. So I'm just going to hit, instead of send, I'm just going to hit approve. And that shows, okay, now it's awaiting payment. So to make it a recurring invoice, let's just go back to our invoices. I think we can highlight this invoice. No, that's not what we wanted. Well, oh, here. Okay, so within the invoice, once the invoice is approved, within the invoice, it looks like I can go to repeat maybe. Here we go. Yep, new repeating invoice. Repeats once a month. End date optional. Okay. Good. I think that's as easy as it is. Let's hit save. Due date cannot be empty. We're going to make it due, I don't know, we'll make it due on the 16th, give them 10 days of the, actually let's do 10 days after the date of the invoice, no end date. Please select how you wish this invoice to be treated. Let's go ahead and do approve immediately, so we don't have to go through and approve it every month. Okay, so hit save. Okay, so now we're in our repeating invoice center, and it shows the one repeating invoice we have. So another way to do it, rather than creating the first invoice and then marking it to repeat, is I think if you go to business here, and invoices, here we go, and then we have a separate tab for repeating invoices. Okay, and then here you can create a new repeating invoice. If we're in the All tab, can we still create a new repeating invoice right there. Okay, so a couple ways to do it. That would be a lot quicker. Now that we know it, we can just go directly to creating a repeating invoice rather than creating one and then make it repeating. Okay, but very good. Pretty easy either way. Create an item for service contract was easy. Set up an invoice to automatically recur monthly was just fine. Okay, moving on. On 120, you receive a check from Family Bowling for the full amount of the invoice. Record the receipt of the check, but don't deposit it yet in the bank account. So this will be interesting how Xero handles this. So the reason you don't want to deposit it originally with the collection is because right, you're going to collect multiple checks in one day, and then you're going to combine those together, and then you're going to make one bank deposit. So to make the reconciliation of your bank account easy, you need to combine all of your daily checks into one deposit before you show the deposit being made. Otherwise, you won't be able to trace easily from your Xero books, your Xero check register into your bank account. So we want to combine all of our daily checks into one deposit. So let's see if we can do that. So let's click on this invoice, and now we're going to receive the payment. Okay. Add payment. I don't think we want to put it directly into our checking account. Now we could put it into our cash on hand. Let me do a little bit of research because we could run it through our cash on hand, but I want to see if I want an automated system that'll do it. So let me do a little bit of research. Okay, I'm back. So it's been very easy to research these questions on Xero. I've just been Googling the question, and there's a lot of Xero material. So just to show you, I Googled that bank deposits in Xero, and Xero self-help stuff comes up very first in the SERP. With a nice breakout. I didn't even have to click into the article. It gave everything right there. So Xero handles deposits a little bit differently than, say, QuickBooks, but I think it's going to work just fine. So let's go back to our Invoices tab. There we go. So this shows all of our invoices awaiting payments, right? We have 4 invoices awaiting payments. So what we're going to do is we want to record the payment of those all at the same time. So we might have to, let's wait a little bit to record that $3,400 payment. Let's go ahead and go through some other transactions in the case study first. Then we're going to record all the payments at one time. Okay, so we're going to record the full amount from there. On 125, an unknown customer comes to the office and purchases a plumbing widget for $25 cash. Record the cash received, but don't deposit it yet. Okay, so can we record a sales receipt? Rather than let's go to our sales overview. Under new, can we do anything other than an invoice? We can do a credit note, but that's certainly not what we want. We can do a repeating invoice. Okay, the only other place I could think is up here on this plus sign, create a new invoice, bill, contact quote, receive money. Select bank account to make the payment to, checking account, hit next. We're just going to make a customer called walk-in customer. We can use it for all of our walk-ins. Okay, and they bought a plumbing widget. Now, obviously, if you had a retail business, you'd want a POS, point of sale system. This is just a rare occurrence that somebody came into our shop and bought something. Yep. So we're selling it for $25. Now it says record the payment received, but don't deposit it yet. So received is a direct payment, prepayment, overpayment. No, it's a direct payment. Okay, so I don't think we're going to be able to collect this without depositing it immediately unless we ran it through an invoice. And again, that's a nice workaround, but that's not the way I would want the system to work ideally. So we're going to do it this way. So we're going to save it. Now that's going into our bank account. Okay. Good. So, okay, that's that $25. On 1/30, you receive a check from Big Time Diner for $200 towards the invoice. Later that day, you receive the other $330. You combine these checks with the one from Family Bowling and the $25 cash and deposit them all into the bank. Okay, so we're not going to be able to exactly play out this scenario, but I think that's actually fine because this is a little bit of a weird scenario. But I think I can figure out what I need. So let's go to businesses and let's go to invoices. So the question here is, when they come in and pay $330, they only pay 200 of the 330. Check from Big Time Diner for 200. Oh, towards the invoice, and then 330 later in the day. So let's so we're going to collect a portion of this 530. Oh, where do I? Nah, I did not mean to open it. Let's go back to invoices. Okay, here we go. So we're going to collect a portion of the 530, and we're collecting the 3,400. Now we want to come up here, and we want to go. Is there somewhere here we can? Oh, here we go. Deposit right here. We can deposit this. Okay. Now, so kind of the workflow here that Xero has laid out for you is you collect all the checks during the day, but then you go through and you apply them to the invoices all at the end of the day. Okay, and then you make them all in one deposit. So, but we got to look here, and so the 3,400 is fine, but Big Time Diner only paid us 200. Okay, so we're depositing $3,600. You have to add a reference. I don't know, deposit slip, I guess, something, I don't know. Bank account, the checking account. Okay, and let's deposit that amount. Okay, and there was our batch deposit. So that's actually fairly slick. QuickBooks Online uses a undeposited funds account that can get pretty confusing. The problem with this approach is we weren't able to add the $25 received in cash from the customer into this deposit, which is something the case study wanted us to do, but we're not able to do that. Okay, let's go back to our invoices. Okay, so perfect. So it shows that we've received 200, but they still owe us $330. Now they come in later in the day, and they pay that 330, or they pay that 330. So again, I'm just going to click on it, hit deposit. And now, so the case study asks us to put this $330 check with the other 200 before depositing it. But we weren't able to do that, and that's fine. I'm not going to take points off of that because that's a weird situation the case study set up, right? You come in one day with 2 different times with different checks, so it's fine. But I am going to count off because you couldn't add the $25 walk-in customers cash into the same deposit as the checks. Excellent. Okay, so let's score this depositing. So receive a check on an outstanding balance. That was easy. Don't deposit the check received. I'm going to give it points for that. So we don't want to record the check. So Xero just has a little different workflow from QuickBooks. So we don't want to actually record the receipt of the check until we're ready to deposit it. And that's fine. Then we can combine the deposit. So issue a sales receipt for a sale paid immediately. We were able to record that sale. Accept a short payment from a customer was fine. Combine multiple checks received into a single deposit. That's fine. combine multiple checks and the cash. We weren't able to combine the cash with the checks into a single deposit. Okay, excellent. Okay, view outstanding invoices. The only one left should be from Trampoline City. So let's go back to our Invoices Center. Somehow we ended up with 2 invoices for Trampoline City. Well, that's not good, right? Because when we created the recurring invoice, we set the date to November 6th, so then it created a second. So this is the recurring invoice because it had the 10-day due date. This was the one we initially created, so we better fix that error. The way we're going to do that is we're going to void this invoice. I guess it lets us delete it instead of void it. There we go. Now we go to invoices. There we go. Okay. Now our invoices look good. Able to view them. Piece of cake. View outstanding invoices without generating a report. That just makes it so it's very easy, and we can do that just in the Invoice Center. We can view them. Okay. Now let's work with a credit memo. So Big Time Diner returns 2 plumbing widgets. So we need to issue them a credit memo and then accept those plumbing widgets back into inventory. It did very good when we did a vendor credit in Chapter 2. Let's see how it does with customer credits. I think it's going to handle this very well. So we're going to want a new credit note to the customer. They're returning 2 plumbing widgets, remember. So this is Big Time Diner. Okay, returning 2 plumbing widgets. Okay, now did we charge them tax on those plumbing widgets? We did, didn't we? So we need to refund their sales tax. And there we go. So that should reduce our sales tax payable to New York by $3. So that was really easy. So let's hit approve and then let's go look and see if it actually did everything it's supposed to. Okay, now let's go look at our inventory first. Did it bring those 2 units back into our inventory? Products and services. Quantity on hand is 140. Let's look at recent transactions. Yep, right there. It brought those 2 back into inventory. Fantastic. Okay, the memo included a sales tax adjustment. Can we view their credit balance in their accounts receivable? Let's go back to our invoicing center. Right here, big time credit, $53 credit. Awaiting payment would mean that it just has not yet been applied to anything. Fantastic. Okay, refund the credit balance in their AR account by issuing them a check. Okay, this could be fun. Let's open the credit memo, I'm guessing we open the credit memo first here. What are our options? Oh, look at this. Make a cash refund. How awesome is that? Wow. That is easy. Pay by check. Add refund. Automatically pulls the check number, yada yada yada. Should create a PDF of the check for us to print. Wow, that is awesome. That is easy. Wow. Love it. Okay, let's grade it. It did fantastic on the refund. That's something that a lot of lesser software, less expensive software just is not built to handle. Okay, so we issued the credit memo. Very easy. It automatically, we had to tell it the inventory was subject to sales tax, but then it corrected sales tax, recorded the inventory back into our inventory. We were able to view the credit balance very easily, and we were able to issue a refund check very easily. Okay, now I think we're down to kind of our last thing here. Write a check to the state of New York for your sales tax liability. Okay. And actually, we've got a couple things there. So view transactions summarized by customer. Make sure we can do that here before we check that. I think we can. I think actually if we just go to contacts, customers, I think it gives you a list of their transactions. So let's look at Big Time Diner. Yep, and there's their transactions. Okay, excellent. Okay, so now let's deal with the sales tax. So write a check to the state of New York for your sales tax liability as of now. Okay, how do we pay our sales tax? Let's look at a sales tax report. Oh, you know what? I think this needs to be, I think we've done everything in November. That's the problem. Actually, let's keep October 1st. I think we did it all in November, but let's just change the ending date to November 30th. What's this ad summary? I feel like we're just missing something here. Like, we haven't told it it's the New York tax that we're after, have we? Okay, so here we go. Here we get the summary. State of New York. So we owe looks like we owe the state of New York $27. Okay, so we can print that report. Looks like we can export it as any of these files. Publish. I wonder what that means. So file online. Okay, prepare and file your sales tax returns online by signing up to our sales tax partner, Avalara. Signing up is free. Nice. Okay, so I'm not going to do that, but you can do that, sign up and make you can file your report and everything online. Very nice. Okay, so let's say you want to issue a paper check. My guess is we're going to have to go, so we're going to want to issue a check for $27. Let's go to checks. Let's go spend money. Is there a sales tax payable account? Yeah, the 2200, that would be a liability account. Okay, so we could issue a check here for $27. And in fact, let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so let's save this and let's just see what happens here. So we can issue a check for it. Cool. So that was easy. Now let's go to our sales tax report and see if it took it off there. I'm not sure it will because we didn't specify which sales tax and such. So that's probably not the way to do it. Oh, we got to change the date again. Yeah, so the way I did it is not the correct way to do it because you can't tell it to take it out of there. Right, to take it out of that sales tax. So now I'm guessing if we look, our sales tax liability account on our balance sheet is not going to equal that anymore. Okay, let me do a little bit of research and see if there is a way to manually do this. My suggestion is just hook up with Avalara, it's free, and let them handle your sales tax for you. But let me see if there's a manual way to pay it. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I just looked very quickly, did not find any help for how to make the sales tax payment manually. But you know what? I think it's really a moot point. Just integrate with Avalara. You can make all your payments through that. You can even file your tax return. And it's free. So there's really no reason. Okay, so it looks like there is a cost to file directly with Avalara, but it'll still help you sort them and everything. Okay. Excellent. So without hooking up to Avalara, we really can't test that feature fully. And being a fake company, we're not going to be able to hook up to Avalara. So let's grade it. I'm going to kind of give it the benefit of the doubt a little bit. We actually could definitely view the sales tax detail, pay sales tax liability with a check, pay it electronically. I'm familiar with Avalara. I'm sure you can do that stuff with it. File a sales tax return. There is an extra charge, so I'm going to give them a half a point. And the subjective ease of use, again, same as chapter 2. It's really easy to use. I tell you what, let's think about how you deposit your checks. I like QuickBooks' use of the undeposited funds better. So everything automatically goes to undeposited funds, and then you do a bank account deposit, and it'll show you every single check you have sitting in undeposited funds, including cash payments you have sitting in undeposited funds. So I do like that better. So I am going to give it a bit of a discount on ease of use because of that. We're going to go with 0.7. Okay, great. Very excited with Xero. I thought this was great. Really, probably its biggest feature that it's lacking is you can't make awesome looking invoices. You know, QuickBooks, you have a number of invoice templates to choose from. FreshBooks invoice looks great. Xero is really lacking in what their invoices look like. You're really, again, very, very functional, right? But you can't change it up to kind of reflect your company's brand. Okay, anyway, that's chapter 3 for Xero. Pretty happy with it. Fit Small Business Case Study.